Am I the a-hole for asking my wife for a divorce? I, 41 male, have been married to my wife, 36 female, for over 4 years now. She has two kids, a boy 16 and a girl 15 from a previous relationship. We live in a house that is hers. I moved right in after our marriage. Things were good initially, but the last year I have been feeling misplaced and honestly exhausted by the arrangement that we have. Now, I knew she was a package deal when I married her, but I didn't realize the amount of time that was required for me to put in. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, my wife barks orders at me. It can be anything from garden work, working on the house, going shopping, picking up her kids from extracurriculars, anyways, tutoring them, which is a whole another can of worms. It's her mom's birthday. It just never ends. I feel like I never have any time for myself. I never get to hang out with my friends anymore or do the things that I'm actually interested in. One of the things that is demanded from me is spending time with our kids, tutoring them in math and physics, which has been extremely frustrating as I don't see them pursuing STEM related career, but my wife has convinced them that they should become research scientists. I'm also required to tutor them in chemistry, even though last time I studied the subject was in high school over 20 years ago. I don't remember much, which requires me to read the textbook, learn the material, and then spoon feed them the information. This takes up at least 6-8 hours of my time a week, and when they come back with a C on their test, it's automatically my fault because I didn't teach them well enough. They also attend tennis and piano lessons, and I am often required to and from practice. I also have no privacy in my own home. There are always people there, either her friends or her sisters. She has 3 of them, or the kids brought their friends over. I feel like the house basically has revolving doors when anyone can come and go as they please. Not this might be my own personal problem as I am an introvert. I prefer my own space without any outsiders in it. The catalyst occurred about last month when I was required to go to IKEA, get a desk, assemble it myself while she spent 6 hours making spaghetti for dinner while talking on the phone the entire time. And when we went to bed, she told me to tutor her oldest in math. I'm sorry, but he never knows how to say no. He just keeps doing it and doing it. As I was laying in bed, I had this awakening of why am I putting up with this? I used to spend time with my friends. I used to sit home and play video game all day and eat pizza. I used to go on trips. Why am I in a situation that doesn't benefit me? I realized I am basically supporting cast member in my own life. Last week, I sat her down and we had a mature conversation of me winning a divorce. To my surprise, she didn't scream or yell, and she tried convincing me to stay, and after back and forth, I told her I was going to give it time, but in the meantime, I have moved out and staying with my parents. I do love her. She's basically the one of my dreams. She has a lot of great qualities, but I just can't do it anymore. When I finally told her on the phone that my decision is final, that I would be filing for divorce, she called me a selfish and immature and told me that I had wasted her time by proposing to her. I honestly don't know if I'm doing the right decision now. When we were alone together, things are great, but it's the everything else that exhausts me to the point that I have to leave. Am I the a-hole? Oh, clearly OP is a people pleaser because it sounds like he's the maid, the tutor, the chauffeur, the nurse. He's literally everything in that damn house for some kids that aren't even his. Ugh, I definitely wouldn't put up with that. And I don't think I feel like if your wants and emotional wants and needs are not being met, then you should definitely get a divorce. Top comment. Info. OP, you say your wife is the woman of your dreams and has a lot of great qualities. I read through your post and failed to see any of the great qualities you're referring to. What makes her the woman of your dreams? What are these qualities? Then someone commented, boobs, I presume. And then someone else said, it's always boobs. But yeah, it's actually sad, and he does need to get a divorce. I don't think OP is the a-hole for wanting to leave this situation, and I didn't hear not a single great quality. The qualities talking about knowing how men work is probably what the commenters are saying. Am I the a-hole for asking my fiance to tell my mother-in-law I don't want to wear her wedding dress? I, 25 female, am engaged to Dan, 26 male. I didn't really think about my wedding dress, and as we planned the wedding venue, catering, and sorted everything else before, my in-laws pitched in for most of it, and I covered most of the smaller things. I don't speak to my extended family, and my parents and sisters passed when I was younger, so Dan's family are also my close family too. Last month, mother-in-law showed me her wedding photos and offhandedly said this is the dress you will get married in and pointed to her wedding dress. The dress is mother-in-law's grandma's and the last two generations have wore it. To be honest, it's not my style and I said, oh, I don't think it will fit as a way to politely decline, but she said it could be altered to fit me. I really don't want to wear that dress, but my mother-in-law keeps mentioning it, so I have to put off wedding dress shopping. But she isn't getting my polite hints, and saying no outright seems mean, and she has gone out of her way to get me involved in the family, so I don't want to offend her. I told Dan the situation, and he said that mother-in-law considers me a daughter, and if I say no, she won't be offended, but I asked him to talk to her on my behalf, and he refused to, as he said he didn't want to get involved in a situation between me and his mom. I don't know her very well, so I don't think we are that comfortable for me to say no outright, and I'm upset at Dan for refusing to step in, and he said I'm being unreasonable. The story was posted like a couple of hours ago. It was just recently posted. I really hate when these like juicy stories don't have updates as quickly, but obviously people live in real life. They can't just, update things that quickly. But let's read the top comment. Not the a-hole. I think you tried to politely decline and your fiance should be more on your side. People telling you to stand up for yourself aren't considering that you've already politely stood your ground. In my opinion, your mother-in-law is being awkward by imposing her preference on your wedding. Picking his mother's side over yours is not ideal in a partnership. Unfortunately, I think you're out of options other than to say you're really excited to select your own wedding dress with family and friends. Let her know that's what you're doing and then proceed with buying your dream dress. Congrats. I hope you're able to get through this awkward situation. Oh, and then OP replied saying, this is what I've said. She knows I have gone to try dresses on with my friends and has said the perfect one is already at home with her. So I need to stay looking. And she said, so I need to stay looking? What does that mean? But it doesn't sound like a joke anymore. No, obviously OP needs to stand her ground. She's getting married, and people get married when they don't stand their ground, especially grounds, and then they don't set their boundaries, and then stay. Because there's one thing of setting your boundaries and saying, "Hey, I'm not okay with X, Y, and Z," and then there's one thing on actually standing on your boundaries. Because people say they have boundaries, but then they always let people cross their boundaries. OP just needs to tell her mother-in-law, like, I'm not comfortable with wearing your dress. It's not my style. It's not an ugly dress, but I just don't want it. If you are, if you want to, you can come dress shopping with me. We can go to different places, and then we'll see what I like, and then you can be there, which could be a special bonding moment since her mother died. That's a better option. And then if OP's mother-in-law says no, then clearly OP's mother-in-law just wants issues, because you can't really force someone to wear something that they don't want to wear, especially on their wedding. I don't think that's how that works.